Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Tropical Forge. So we are unloading the coal cart today. As I mentioned, we don't have our tractor here yet because we're still using it at the other house. And we only have one tractor. So, but before we had tractors, we had one tractor before this, but it was basically a glorified lawnmower. We would do what we could to maneuver things around with our Jeep or with our with our four-wheeler and things like that. But if you don't have access to any of those things, I showed this yesterday. It's basically a super cool trailer dolly. So Zad's gonna explain it to you and then I'll show you how it works. It might be something you can put together yourself depending on how handy you are. If you don't have access to a tractor or money for a tractor or things like that, tractors right now, even the used tractor market is insanely expensive. So, you know, it took us several years until we had enough money to buy a tractor, and we had to really get creative about how we moved things around our homestead.
So this is a homemade trailer dolly. I have a store-bought one that came with one of our trailers that's not powered other than your feet. So this one is, a guy got the...
We bought this used, or my dad did.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I found it on Marketplace, sent it to my father-in-law, he bought it. Works real nice like that. No. So the guy who made this found the instructions and how to make it online and built it. So pretty much in essence what it is 4 tires, 2 big ones that can handle a heavy load, a large sprocket here, a small sprocket up in here. This is just a little 2,500 pound 12 volt ATV winch. That is the motor to this, with a little 12 volt battery and then 2 tires on the back for when it's not hooked to a trailer to get to move. So I guess I could unstrap this a while. So you have a 12 volt battery here, the ATV winch here. Instead of a rope or a cable, you have a sprocket. This is your clutch. So with the clutch open or out, it's not going to go anywhere. But, well, I should say, with the clutch out, it's freewheeling. I don't need to use the motor. But once I put the clutch in, then I use the winch in or winch out buttons for forward and reverse. It's not fast, but it has low torque, so it's going to be able to help push or pull a heavy trailer. My in-laws use this to move their 20-foot camper that's really 25 foot long with the tongue and everything, and they use this to maneuver it around in their driveway and put it in place. So not too heavy, but heavy.
It's kind of like picking up a KitchenAid, like it's heavy on one end and not heavy on the other.
So we'll use this to pull that trailer off.
So we have our coal cart here, which we talked about yesterday. We safely got it up here, thank goodness. I was a little nervous. Our tarp's a little tattered, but that's okay. If that was the worst part, I think we're doing all right.
So this is a high lift jack. This is the brand name high lift jack. They're also known as farm jacks. They're a multi-use tool. They're used to lift up. You also can put a piece here to here and use it like a winch or a come along. So they have multiple uses. They are extremely dangerous. They have a very high rate of the bottom foot kicking out. That's why I have this piece of rubber down, because metal on metal is slippery, so the rubber will help slow it down if it wants to kick out. So you have to be very cautious and careful when using these and making sure you're not underneath the vehicle or underneath something that you could get pinched. But in the right application, they're very handy.
And to note, we're still strapped at the back.
Well, yeah, we're strapped on 3 of the 4 tires.
Yeah.
And on the frame at the back, I just have this corner undone so that I can lift this corner up.
And something's going on with the bead of this tire, right?
Yeah, it's an old white wall tire that it lost air and the bead didn't get set right yesterday, and I didn't really have the time to set it right, so I just wanted to get it on the trailer while I had air on it and worry about getting it off later. So now that tire is all but freely moving. So I'm going to see if I can't set it, the bead now, and if not, then I'll worry about raising it up higher.
Can you explain what setting the bead means?
So the bead is
of course the air compressor kicks on.
The big ones at home. So this is your rim or the wheel, and this is your tire. The inside portion that you don't see of the tire has a metal ring around it, and that's called the bead. And this is where the bead sits, is right in here on the other side. So when the tire and the rim come together, there's like a little, this is what the rim looks like, and this is the tire, and it sits right in here, and it sits so tightly that it seals off and allows the air not to pass through. But if you have a void like this where I can get my fingers behind it, or you get dirt or a stick or a rock or something like that, rust, then you could have a void where the air leaks out. This is an old tire.
I don't know if we figured out what year this...
It's actually a BFG, but it has white walls on the back. So this is what you would have seen on some of the old hot rod roadsters. It's fine for a farm wagon. It doesn't have to be anything special, but we need to make sure it holds air. So if this one doesn't hold air, then we'll probably end up unsetting the bead, trying to reset it, make sure it's all clean. And if that doesn't resolve itself, we'll get another tire or we'll throw a tube in it. So I guess I'm just old school, I don't know. These are snap binders. They're just as bad as the high lift jack. The way they work is you anchor the chain on one side, you go through your load, come down, loop down through your ring point, hook the chain here. So the way they operate, and it doesn't have as much tension because I already took one off, but it works like that. So when you go to tighten it down, you're going to be taking this and you're pulling and tightening it like this. When these are being put on or taken off, there's a lot of tension here. They're also called jaw breakers because back in the day, guys are trying to, loosen it up and it kicks forward, or they're trying to tighten it and their hand slips and comes up and hits them in the jaw. So really, cheater bar with these gives you more leverage, makes it easier, and keeps your head away from it.
That's basically a pipe.
A pipe. They actually make one that's designed for this, but yes, a pipe would work too if it's sized properly. So this is a one type of binder, snap binder. They make ratcheting binders where it's literally a piece of threaded piece here and here, and you ratchet it and it pulls it in or loosens it up. These are a bit quicker if you know how to use them, but they are more dangerous. So, and this is the first time I've used this for my application. This hitch was on, and I'm guessing the guy who made this pipe wasn't the right size, so he cut a seam down it and fit this hitch into it. I was wanting to take this hitch out and put this one in so we could hook to the farm wagon style hitch, but that's not going to happen. So these are, I went down to West Virginia last week, I think it was, and these are my grandfather's and my great-grandfather's tools. And I just happen not to have the tools that I typically use to do this.
Because none of our tools are here yet.
Right, and these tools were here. So I'm going to be using my great-grandfather's tools to take this off so that we can get this trailer moved.
You want the PB blaster?
I might need it.
Something we always have on hand.
Oh, that or WD.
WD-40 or PB blaster. Always have that on hand. In the truck, in the barn.
This stuff will eat through a styrofoam cup.
Use with caution. But it gets the job done.
We need to keep moving, but for the sake of you guys getting to see how this works, you hook it into your trailer, you push the button, and you can maneuver a trailer around like that, this being the vehicle that moves the trailer.
If you'd like to stick around, I'll show you moving this farm wagon with my Excursion, because that's what we have here to do it with. So there's just a little too much space between where the hitch of the Excursion and the tongue, right, of the wagon are. So we are going to back, I can't with this. We're gonna back the Excursion up on the ramps and then hook on and hopefully pull it off. Good grief.
Safety note, when unloading a trailer and you're putting extreme amounts of weight on the tongue like this, it'll lift the back of a truck up. If you have four-wheel drive, short of wheel chocking it, if you have four-wheel drive, put it in 4 high. If for any reason the rear tires lift off the ground enough for it to travel, the front tires will keep it from moving because it's in four-wheel drive.
So I'm currently sitting in the Excursion while Zach puts air in the tire again because it's already flat. So he jacks it up again, is putting air in it again. This is definitely one of those days where things did not go to plan. All right, we successfully used the Excursion to pull it off of the trailer, but of course the tire's flat, so he's airing it up for a 3rd time, and then we're gonna move. I guess it's staying in this spot. Are you leaving it here? Okay, just kidding. He's gonna air it up and then move it. That way when the tractor is finally here, it can be put where it actually is. All right, I think we are finally maybe almost done. He's going to, okay, so we're bringing the excavator on Saturday night. No, just kidding, Monday. The excavator's coming in. We're coming up Saturday night. So he wants to get this, if we can get enough, oh, this poor tire. So he wants to try to get it over there in the grass so that when we bring in the excavator, we'll have our tractor, we'll have all kinds of equipment and whatever. So he wants to try to get this thing out of the way. What a mess. All right, thanks for hanging in. The trailer dolly is really cool when you have the right hitch on it and it doesn't get stuck. So if you need something to move stuff around your homestead, that actually really does work, just not when you have all of these extra variables and when you have the right tools and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you were both entertained and learned something. We'll see you next time.